looking around because we're still pretty fucking terrified at what has taken place. And he goes, Jake, what the fuck is that? It's catching up to us. And at first I didn't see anything, so I'm looking in all the mirrors, looking around, and he goes, Jake, are you fucking blind? It's right next to us.
Hello, and welcome to Modern Explorer, The Interviews. This is Glenn Norbert, and today I will be interviewing Jacob. He is a longtime resident of Colorado. For his peace of mind, we recorded this interview along a peaceful stretch of the Arkansas River near Florence. A few years back, he and two of his friends went on what started out as a pleasant overnight fishing trip that turned into something that has traumatized the three of them to this day. They endured a terrifying night of boulder throwing, culminating in a dirt road chase that reached and exceeded speeds of 50 miles an hour. Running on four legs, something chased them from their campground. Soon, it raced and cut in front of them, toying with them for 4 long miles. If that isn't enough, at a sudden turn, it stopped and, looking at them, did something that shocked them all. I thank Jacob for sharing his testimony. He did not want to be videoed as the memory is too raw. As he recounts this terrible trip, you'll understand the reason why. Wanting to see the road for myself, I went down to the location and filmed the campsite area and the road back. Jacob will not go there any longer. Driving on the road, I was able to match the speeds he refers to, even though it does get quite dicey at times, especially in the curves, just as he says during the interview. He watched the video and confirmed where the events happened in real time. I do not doubt his story or the details of it. As he recounted his experience, he goes into detail as to what they saw that early morning. I watched him shudder at the memory. This area is where we have had other odd encounters reported, but none so terrifying. So sit back and listen to Jacob as he gives his testimony. If you enjoy these encounter testimonies, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be alerted when we post them. As always, if you or anyone you know would like to share an encounter, email us at encounters@modernexplorer.me. So here I am talking to Jacob. This is his encounter down by Pueblo Reservoir.
All right, my name is Jacob, and I was with two friends of mine, male and female, and so around 12 o'clock, midday, we decided that we were going to go camping and have an overnight stay.
What time of year?
Roughly around Halloween time, probably just prior, that month. This was between 3 and 5 years ago. I don't remember which year it was.
Okay.
And so we were like undecisive on where we wanted to go. So we checked out a couple different areas. We decided to go towards the Pueblo Reservoir. But we did not go to the reservoir. We took Highway 67 on the backside of the reservoir towards it. And we found this unmarked road, kind of. And it just looked really interesting, so we were going to try it out and drive down it. Okay, so anyways, we're going down this road, and by this time it's like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we find this nice spot that's really secluded on this unmarked road, you know. Probably only had to walk maybe 600 feet to the riverside from where we parked. So we got down there and set up camp, and we started fishing. We're spending the day fishing. Everything was going good. We were having fun. And everything was just fine. And then it just got weird really fast. And it wasn't anything anyone did. It's just, it felt different. And I do not know how to explain that. but it just felt different.
Was it interpersonal relationships that were different, or was it the vibe of the area that
The
was
entire
different?
vibe of the area changed. It went from very comfortable, very relaxing area, like similar to the one we're in now. Very relaxing, very secluded, and running up on 7, 8 o'clock at night, it got different, and it just started getting worse and worse. And
Was it getting dark at that point?
oh yeah, it was dark by 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And so we're fishing into the night, and around 11 o'clock, we hear this massive sploosh in the river. Something massive hit the water, and it sank all the way to the bottom.
And you're still fishing at this point?
And we were still fishing at this point.
Do you have any lights on or anything?
No, just a campfire behind us.
Okay.
And
how far away is the campfire?
30, 40 feet.
Okay.
So it's just kind of flickering off the water. And my friend, he goes, man, he asked if that was an animal, and I said it didn't sound like an animal. And then probably 10 o'clock came around. The feeling, this weird feeling got worse and worse and worse. And it started feeling like we were being watched. And it wasn't being watched like we were about to be dinner, as if it was a mountain lion or another predator. It just felt like we were being watched. And then, so 11:30, 12 comes around. There's 3 consecutive big splooshes in the water.
How far apart were they?
Just seconds.
Okay.
Just seconds apart. I mean, I don't know.
And could you tell if they were close to you, or?
Yeah, they were right in front of us, but we're fishing off this bank, so right directly below us was pitch black. But that's where the water was going, and it was splashing really big. Like there was one of the splooshes came all the way up and got us wet.
Oh wow.
And then we started getting really freaked out, and we pulled our lines in. We started running back to the campfire, at least to where we could see a little bit. We got there, talking about it, just talking about how weird it was, and like it was different. It didn't feel right.
What did you guys think it was at the time? Do you remember?
He thought it was some kind of water animal, like a beaver, or even what are they called? An otter.
Mm-hmm.
Jumping in, or even just a big animal that had landed in the water to cross it. Well, so it's like midnight 30, going on 1, and we're all really, really tired now. And so we all start climbing in the tent. The campfire is just about out, so we just let it pitter. And as we're all climbing into our rucksacks, our sleeping bags, another huge splash happened. And once again, it was really close to us. It not much farther than we could see off the bank. And
how far away is your tent from the bank?
5 feet.
Oh, so you're right at the bank.
Yeah, we were on the bank.
Okay.
And so me and my buddy, we looked up and looked at each other like, what the
fondue
was that? And then 3 more. Poof, poof, poof.
Again, 3 more.
Yeah. And I don't know if he saw it, but it looked like there was a shadow in between the campfire, which was probably 20 feet away from the tent. And I thought I saw a shadow in between us and the fire. And
you're inside the tent.
And we were inside the tent, already laying down.
Okay, so it's just a movement of shadow or light or whatever.
Yeah, yes, a silhouette of something.
Okay.
And so we get up, we open the tent, we look around. There's nothing there, absolutely nothing. Close the tent back up, lay back down, and we fall asleep. running on 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And there are 5 more large splashes in the water. Lots of rocks. It started raining, it felt like. These were not little splashes. It's like a full-grown human jumped in and cannonballed in.
So at this point, you've heard
Around 10 now.
around 10 at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw some rocks, and you tell me if this is what it sounded like, because we're about the same distance and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. That sounded really similar. There we go. That was a nice smack on that one.
Holy cow! Now these are
This is a
probably 45, 50-pound rocks.
Yep. Yep, there we go. That's a splash. Yeah, so 5 consecutive splashes. It sounded very similar to those 3. They started from smaller to largest at a very fast pace, a lot faster than our little test. I mean, almost simultaneously, snap of the fingers fast.
Bam! Wow.
And so all 3 of us woke up, freaked the hell out, and you know, it's still dark out, but the sun is just barely starting to peek up over the hills across the way.
So again, your tent's only 5 feet from the shore,
and then
10 feet off the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about where we're at right now. And
That's
it was
almost
that close, that fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So we all fly out of our sleeping bags, and at this point we're all so scared that we don't even pack up our campsite. We snapped our tent poles and rolled everything up in the tent and ran for the vehicle.
Did you actually bust the tent poles?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm serious. We didn't take it.
Didn't take it apart.
Didn't
it was
take
just
a second. It was roll it over, bring it with. And so we got back to the car. It's like 600 feet away from where we were camping. And you know, it's bright and early in the morning. My girlfriend at the time was really cranky, and we started arguing as we were pulling out of there. And we were all different that morning, like, because of the events leading up to. We were all really angry, really tired, and I started acting like
armchair
and driving like
armchair
down this dirt road.
And this is when it starts getting really weird.
And this is where it is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my
fondue
life. So I would like to say I was doing 65, 75.
We'll do a test when we get out there. We'll double check those numbers.
But I can guarantee it was at least 55. Guaranteed at least 55.
What were you driving?
We were driving a Yukon.
Okay.
Suburban.
Okay. So big vehicle.
A big vehicle. And I mean, I'm just hauling
armchair
around this dirt road, up and down these little ravines and going left and right around the turns. And we started to reach this like opening in the road where it just kind of straightened out and leveled out. My buddy, he says, dude, what the
fondue
is that? It's catching up to us.
What seat is he in?
He is in the middle row of the 3-row Suburban. So there's front seat, back seat, and then, or front seat, middle seat, back seat.
Okay, so girlfriend's in the front seat with you.
Yep.
He's in the passenger
directly
right
behind us, you know, right behind us, like in the mirror, right in our rear view mirror. And he's looking around because we're still pretty
fondue
terrified at what has taken place. And he goes, Jake, what the
fondue
is that? It's catching up to us. And at first I didn't see anything, so I'm looking in all the mirrors, I'm looking around, and he goes, Jake, are you
fondue
blind? It's right next to us.
And you've got the headlamps on.
We're driving.
Headlights are on.
Headlights.
Okay.
We've got the brights on. We're hauling ass. Still, I mean, like, can hardly hold the road, hauling ass. And he says, look out your window. And I looked out my window. And
Is it on your side or on the passenger side?
it was on my side.
On the driver's side.
It was on the driver's side. And it was side by side with our vehicle as I was hauling ass down this road. And it...
Okay, let's pause. Now
It petrifies me.
I see that in your... So you're all right. You're all right. Can you... So you look out the window. What do you see? Can you... Now, not what's coming up, but what are you seeing now?
At the moment, as I'm looking directly out the window to my left, I see what looks like a very weird greyhound dog with a rhino looking hide. It was very pale gray skin with very splotchy, spread out orange hair, like rust, like this rust we're looking at. And it's just very thin, and it looks like it's an animal with mange.
Okay.
And so at this point, I'm really starting to panic. And so I started speeding up, hoping that I could just get away from it.
Okay, pause. It's running on 4 legs.
Yes, sir.
Is it looking at you or is it looking ahead?
It's just glancing at us like
it's glancing back and forth. So it's pacing you and it's looking at you, seeing what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very aware of what it was doing. It was very aware of what it was doing. Okay. So this greyhound-looking dog with
fondue
and mange, I would call it. It's running side by side with us, 50-something miles an hour. 50, 60 miles an hour. And I'm speeding up. I'm starting to go faster. This thing took off in front of the vehicle with ease. Darted across the road to the passenger side of the vehicle and then hit its brakes. Like it just stopped running. And it slid 30, 40 feet. And once it got to the point where it stopped, it started to stand up on its hind legs. And when its back popped, it stood up and smiled at me.
Did it look at you? Was it looking at the car?
I was looking through the mirror, but it stood up. And I don't know if this is a demon, you guys. I don't know if this is a real
fondue
creature. But it was right
fondue
next to us.
How far away at this point?
Well, now it's in the rearview mirror.
When you passed, how far away? First, how close is it when it was pacing you? I mean, 10 feet?
I mean, no, it was within the road.
Oh, okay, so we're talking...
It was on the road, side by side, like it was a drag race.
5 feet, 6 feet away from you.
6 feet from me, like, not even.
And how tall... Okay, so you're looking out... Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to break, but I want to go back because I want to get the picture here.
Okay.
So you're driving, you're looking out the window, is it... And I know the size of a Yukon.
Okay. Yeah, it's a rather large vehicle. All right, so this animal had shorter front legs and really long back legs.
Okay.
And it looked like a damn greyhound, man. Like its ass was in the air.
Okay. Now, and it was right next to you.
At 50, 60 miles an hour. And faster. And then without hesitation, pulled in front of us. Pulled up, past us. Darted across the road, hit its brakes. Like it's emergency brakes. And just skidding for 30, 40 feet. As we're doing 60, 70 miles an hour now. We're flying by this creature. And once it finally got to the point where it had enough stop to it, it started to rear up onto its hind legs. And through my rearview mirror, I could see its back. It literally popped. And at that same popping motion, its face popped right up and it smiled at us.
No, you're okay.
I don't. Oh God.
I'm sorry. I thank you, but so.
Okay, so this thing
Do
stands
you
up.
need me to pause for a sec?
Yeah.
Yeah. I obviously this is. I don't want to take this lightly at all. We can stop it. Obviously you're shaking. I can see that right now. Not gonna deny that. That'd be terrifying.
Dude, it was.
How old were you at this point?
It's my 21st, 22nd. Just turned 21, 22.
Okay, so you're a young kid.
Yeah.
Very young kid.
Yeah.
And your friends are how old? Same age?
She's 2 or 3 years younger. He's 5 or 6 years older.
Okay, so this must. I mean, nobody has this anywhere on your radar.
No. Dude,
No, you're fine.
that's
you're
a
fine.
horrible
Fondue.
memory.
Man, I'm so sorry.
Okay, but anyway.
No, yeah, you're good. You're
Okay.
good.
So I'm flying by this creature, 60, 70 miles an hour. It hits the brakes, stops, stands up, smiles, and then just walks off into the dark in my rearview mirror
On 2 legs.
on 2 legs. And they looked like canine hind legs, you know?
Mm-hmm. Working from the bottom up.
Have you ever seen the movie The Mummy? The one where they raise the army of the dead
Yeah,
and all those black Anubis dogs pop out of the sand?
yeah.
I would say it looked like that, just gray with mange and colorless.
We're the starting from the bottom up. Okay, let's go when it's on all fours.
Paws. It looked like paws.
Okay, let's go. So it's on all fours.
Okay.
It's right next to you.
Yeah.
Pacing you.
Playing with us.
Playing with you.
Yeah.
It's toying with you. It knows. Wow. Okay.
And
It does.
it did this for almost a mile and a half, man.
Oh my God.
Fucking terrifying.
This.
Okay.
No, I get it. So its hind legs are longer than its front.
Yes.
So its butt's kind of up in the air.
While it's on all fours, its ass is like 6 inches to a foot above its shoulders.
Shoulder line. Okay.
Yeah.
And you said it has a kind of a tail sort of thing, but not really.
Yes, and it looked like a turtle tail.
Oh, okay.
If I could compare it to a tail, it'd be like a turtle tail.
Just a stubby little coney.
A stubby little nub, but when it's spread, like when it gets fat, it goes into like a triangle shape.
How long do you think this thing was?
The tail?
The tail.
8-10 inches.
Okay, so not 3
large.
feet long, not
No.
like a mountain lion.
No,
tail or
no.
something.
This is nothing like I've ever seen before, man. I'm trying to find like a piece of wood to compare it to.
No, you're fine.
But
A friend of mine asked me about this. Let's go with its back paws first. Were they proportional to like a greyhound, or were they big, or
they're very large.
bigger than they should have been for that size of a dog leg?
Almost like compared to a camel's foot.
Okay.
Large. They were so disproportionate from the body.
It's working your way up its leg. It now goes to, is it normal, like, I want to say normal dog leg because this is all weird. But is it normal dog leg sized, or is it significantly larger, or the muscles bigger?
At the bottom, the skinniest legs I've ever seen. Like towards the ankles.
Uh-huh.
And then just where it hits that back curvature for the knees,
Uh-huh.
it hit like a world famous bodybuilder's thickness of thigh.
Okay.
Like, just massive. It did not belong on that creature.
So now you're working your way up. Now it's butt.
Great. It looked like it had a human ass.
Okay.
Like, with cheeks and everything.
Okay.
And then it slenders down into a very muscular hip.
Mm-hmm.
Just the muscles start getting tighter, almost like it was wearing a corset or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And then it got to the chest, and it wasn't really round. It was more oval.
Okay.
So like the chest protruded forward.
Kind of like a greyhound's chest has that
Yeah.
ovally shape. Okay.
And
moving its way up to
the shoulders. They were broad, very broad. Like me and my brothers we're of Norwegian blood, and we have broad shoulders. We're sizable. This thing was a larger.
Okay.
And then going down its arms, it just straight back to skinny.
Now its front paws. Did it have paws? Did it have hands? Do you remember?
It looked like arms. They looked like human arms. And then when it got to the hands, they looked webbed. Like webbed. Like a webbing in between a dog pad. That, like a duck's foot just on a dog pad. I don't know.
You're all right.
And then
we can stop.
Going up its neck, it got really thick, like its thighs, just massively thick. Because it was like sucked in, but when it stood up, it straightened out and it thinned out and almost took the full proportions of a human being. A very fit human being.
Now you said the chest kind of and the back sort of popped, or it had a it looked like it broke its back to stand up. And at the moment the back popped, the chest pushed forward, the head slammed back, the snout came up, the ears perked, the eyes, like, I can't even explain the eyes. There's this yellow mustard color. And its whole eyes, both of its eyes, there weren't any whites, there weren't no retinas. It's just a mustard yellow. Like a very dehydrated pea color. Okay.
And it's got a snout like a dog, but it popped a smile with human-like teeth.
Did it have canines? Do you remember? I mean,
I don't remember canines. They just looked like somebody fresh out of a dentist.
Like square people teeth.
Yeah, human teeth. And
how long's the snout? You said it was kind of
3-4 inches, maybe 5.
Okay.
And it just popped its cheeks, and the way its cheeks popped made its ears twitch, its eyebrows like wiggle, its snout pucker. That was the creepiest
fondue
thing I've ever seen in my life. And it walked off on its hind legs. Back into the darkness. And that was the last we saw of it.
And so you're tearing down the road, and it just fades into the darkness.
In my mirror. I'm watching it through my mirror, hauling ass. I didn't even care to look at the road at this point.
Yeah.
I wasn't even looking. We could have rolled countless times, and I wouldn't have cared. I would have gotten out looking for a weapon. And the really, really weird part about this is not just the day before we went camping. I was with
person 2.
And he was talking about an Indian witch. They called them brujos. or shapeshifters, or
What, skinwalkers?
skinwalkers. Like, there's so many names for them.
Yeah.
And he was talking about them. And it just so happens my buddy
Witness 2.
is Native American.
Okay.
And I've never, ever witnessed a Native American start begging for God to help him. Ever.
So now,
Like Jesus Christ, I've never witnessed a Native American who are, to their beliefs, plenty of gods,
yeah.
begging for Jesus Christ to help him and help us.
So you guys, it's gone out of sight.
It's gone.
You're tearing up. You get onto the highway. You start heading back towards Wetmore, and then back to.
Yep.
What's the conversation? What do you guys? What's going on in the car?
Tears, silence. Tears and silence.
Did you guys ever talk about this afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've tried to speculate, like all three of us as a group, what that could have been. Could we have been hallucinating?
Well, all three of you have the same account, though.
Yeah. Could we have just been seeing stuff? And we still don't have an answer. No, that happened.
And you haven't been back there since?
No, I have not. And I won't go without a firearm and extra people.
Right. That's obviously it's terrifying, and thank you for sharing. I realize this has brought up a lot of emotion for you, and I don't want to discount that at all.
It's a very suppressed memory because of just the way it all played out from start to finish, the day before to the morning of, and the rest of that day. The rest of that day was just numb.
What'd you do when you got home?
I cried. I went and I hopped in a bath and I drank all day long in that bathtub.
Just to get away from it.
Yeah. I don't have a clue what they did.
I don't envy you. Thank you for sharing, because if this happens to somebody else, what did you think you were crazy?
I did. I really did.
Yet your friend saw it.
Yeah. 3 pairs of eyes and three different brains. 3 different human beings. We all witnessed this.
And prior to this, had you gone down to Pueblo Reservoir to go fishing and hang out?
I've been at the reservoir plenty of times, but never on that backside at the river. On the river.
And you haven't been back since.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm fucking terrified to go back, honestly. Part of it is I feel like even if we shot it, it would have just smiled at us and kept going. Like, it didn't feel like something we could have even harmed or physically caused damage to.
Oh, okay. So you're thinking it was more of a spiritual sort of...
I've ran through everything. Was it just a spiritual journey? Did we have bad fish the night before?
Right.
Like I've assessed every possibility, and no, at least with the possibilities I can think of, no.
And at this point, you have no answers.
Nothing.
Man.
Except that thing's still out there.
I don't know what that area is out there. I know that it's a sunken, Swallows is a buried town. from the reservoir, but that's just that.
It's back in like the rolling hills behind the reservoir in that shale rock.
Yeah.
And it's just not easy it's just not easy land to survive in.
Yeah.
Like, most wildlife that lives out there doesn't stay there long. It's just passing through.
Yeah. Did you feel...
I didn't feel like food.
You didn't feel like food, no.
I felt fear. True fear. And mind you, I've been shot at a couple times. That's scary. I've been stripped away from everyone I've ever loved for a time, and that's scary. But that is not fear.
If you guys hadn't gotten out of there, do you have a sense of what was going on, or was it just to terrify you, or?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I hope it was just to scare us, but in all honesty, it felt like it wanted something.
Well, that is terrifying. I mean, from the beginning of just rocks. I mean, those splashes we threw here,
They're large. Those are heavy fucking rocks, man.
Yeah, I mean, we had a hard time schlepping them up here to toss them.
Yeah.
And we only got them, what?
10, 15 feet
10,
up?
15 feet off, and that was a heave-ho to get it there. But you have no idea where the rock... I'm backing up now. No idea where the rocks came from, or if they came from across the river or your side of the river.
Our side of the river was like a solid dirt bank. I don't even know where the rocks would have come from on our side of the river.
Okay. And on the north side of the river...
It's all that shale rock that they've got,
Yeah.
For
those cliffs.
Yeah, for those cliffs. But they don't... When a rock slide happens, they don't just one rock at a time, 3 rocks at a time.
No.
It just... It's just different. It was really, really different. From the get-go. And the minute before anything started happening, we all got a different vibe. Before any of it happened.
Before any of the rocks.
The vibe changed like that.
Was it just...
It went from complete comfortable, laughing, enjoying campfire, fishing, to... Okay. Everybody's on guard now. We're all looking around, making sure nothing's watching us. Can't see nothing.
Did it sound different? I mean,
It got silent.
It got silent.
You couldn't hear bugs. There was no birds. It's like the river even went silent. Like, you couldn't even hear the flow of it anymore. It just... Like the life of that area had been stripped or gone cold. I don't know how you'd explain it. But just like you take this beautifully quiet place we're in and just remove all sound.
When it locked up its brakes, right?
Yeah.
It kicked up dust.
Oh yeah.
So it was a physical being.
Yes.
It wasn't just a figment of your mind.
Yeah, no.
There was dust. There was...
Yeah, no. There was skid marks. As we're getting ready to pass it, there are skid marks from its hands and feet in the road next to us.
So all this whole time it's been in the road.
Yes, the whole time, from the time that my buddy saw it to the moment it walked off on its hind legs. It was in the road with us.
Okay. They thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're okay. Feels good to just even let it go a little bit. Because it's fucking... That's a suppressed memory.
Sure.
Heavily suppressed.
How do you think it affected your friends?
Well, she lost her mind and he became a well-endowed heroin addict. Like, he does not care to be awake or alive or have thoughts or
Do you think
emotions.
that's what this did that to him?
I don't know. I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
She literally went to the loony bin for a year and a half.
Right after that?
Yeah, not long after, just a couple months.
Did you think, when you were dating her, did you think that there was an unstableness to her at the time?
Yeah, she's always been unstable, but nothing like that. Like what got her taken to the loony bin was she was in the car with her parents. One of them said something to make her emotional. She punched her mom in the back of the head and jumped out of the car at 75 miles an hour, going down the freeway or going down the interstate to Nebraska.
Okay.
Just jumped out.
Well, there you go. Another encounter story. This one certainly gives me pause, wondering what in the world they saw that morning. And certainly, it makes me think twice about looking for hard evidence of these cryptids. I would especially like to thank Jacob and acknowledge his strength in recounting his story. I never say this, but please pray for him and his friends, for healing as they walk through life with this experience. Following up on, documenting, and producing these videos takes quite a bit of time, gear, and gas. If you would like to help us out, you can toss a buck or two into the PayPal account listed in the description below. Anything you can do is greatly appreciated. Remember, if you or anyone you know would like to tell their encounter story, whether it's from Fremont County, somewhere else in Colorado, or anywhere else in the world for that matter, please email us at encounters@modernexplorer.me. We would be happy to document your experience. You can remain anonymous if you prefer. We just want the stories documented. There's something going on.